What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Northeast Florida Surf Fishing forecast for March 18th through the 20th, which is coming up tomorrow. As you know, the last few days up here in Northeast Florida, hold on, I gotta wipe off the camera. There we go, much better. The winds have been blowing out of the south, and if you've seen the water from Hannah Park down through most of Ponte Vedra, it's been either very dirty or silty dirty, and very few whiting, lots of small whiting, some sharks, some catfish. On the other hand, around the Villano and say Huguenot, where there's a little bit cleaner water, some nicer whiting have come up. But even in the dirty water, what's up, Buckness, Marcio? Even in the dirty water we've had, just to show you how the season is changing. What's up, guys? Keeper reds, oversized reds, speckled trout, yellowmouth trout, Spanish mackerel. Haven't heard of any flounder yet. Black drum have been caught in the surf. And today I got a good report. A couple pompano were caught in the area as well. So what's funny is on Facebook, the memories, if you're on Facebook, they have Facebook memories that go back last several years, whatever you posted from that day. This very day last year, I have a picture where I posted the east winds finally cleaned up the dirty water. And guess what? I had a bunch of big whiting and like a 17-inch pompano. So it's coming the next few days, though. Still, on Friday, we're looking at southeast winds. They look fairly light for most of the day, 7 to 10 and possibly getting up to 15 by the afternoon. But what I've learned with the southeast winds in this area is that sometimes they call for like 10 miles an hour and it'll be up to 20. So let's hope not. And then on Saturday, switching over to the southwest, 10 to 15. And then Sunday, northwest, 7 to 10. So possibly Sunday, that light northwest wind, maybe it'll help the water get a little bit cleaner. So if you have to fish this weekend, I'd say Sunday would probably be the better day. And if you can wait for the right winds, Monday and Tuesday, guys, of next week, I saw northeast to east, 7 to 12 on Monday and Tuesday. Now that could change, but if that's the case, that water will clean up extremely fast. The water temperatures right now, Flagler, I looked, it was up to 69, but now down to 67. Well, Marcio, your water down there tends to stay a lot cleaner than ours up here when we get a south wind. It still gets a little bit dirty, but nothing like up here. If you've ever seen Jack's Beach and Hannah Park when we get a strong south wind, my goodness, it looks like Yoo-hoo chocolate milk, and the catfish love it. So hopefully you can get some down there. I've heard, no problem, guys. I've heard Larry the Fishman Finch is somewhere down in that area catching pompano and whiting. So I would try Saturday if you can. And yeah, the water temperature in Flagler was up to 69, dropped down to 67. Same in Jack's Beach, it was up to 65, down to 62, but it's gonna rise fast with this south wind. Oh, good report, James. And same in Fernandina, 62, hanging in that same area. But my favorite bait, guys, I gotta show you something. Here, let me fix the phone. You'll see what's in there. Can y'all see them? Sorry about that. I gotta keep them in a container. I got them inside. My wife, she don't want no sand fleas running around inside. But they're here. Excellent sizes. That size right there is tremendous for whiting and pompano. Size was probably a little bit bigger than a dime. Looks like eggs. See the eggs? And that's why we use the orange and red beads, try to mimic sand fleas. But these were caught on low tide by my buddy John. He said it was pretty, he got there a little late, so he wasn't able to drag the rake Down in Ponte Vedra, you know, there's a lot of coquina, so on the low tide, the dead low tide, you have a little drop off. You take your sand flea rake and just dig into coquina right there. He said the sand fleas are there now. And in fact, the whiting I caught about a little over a week and a half ago, the one that was 18.5 inches, when I cleaned him, he was full of sand fleas as well as like 3 or 4 shrimp. And they weren't my shrimp, so I guess maybe there's some shrimp that were swimming out there along the beach as well. But that's good news, so start bringing your sand flea rakes. And if the fish, a lot of the whiting I cleaned a week and a half ago, besides that big one, they also had sand fleas in their bellies, and a couple of them had pieces of ghost shrimp. So it's a lot more work to get the ghost shrimp. You got to get the pump, and you don't get one every single time you suck out a hole. It is a lot of work, but they are good bait. But when the sand fleas are here, that's what I'm going to use, and I'm excited. Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be throwing out some sand fleas, hopefully in a nice run out. Yep, 1 or 2. I use the same circles, depending on the size of the sand fleas. Of course, you know, a lot of people, they shy away. Let me tell you something. Let me get it out of here. Okay. Now you see how small that sand flea is right there. Now, a lot of people I'll talk to, they say, well, they were too small to use. Well, I've been on the beach sometimes, and the school of sand fleas will only be that big. So I'll get several, and I'll put two or three on the hook. They're small, but guess what? Those whiting absolutely love them. They'll eat them up. They don't care that they're small. They just see that there's sand fleas for their taking. Now, obviously, in this size here, you just need one on the hook. In fact, that's a soft-shelled sand flea right there. If you haven't used soft shell, they're harder to keep on the hook, but when the pier was open, the sheephead, my goodness, they love sand fleas, but you put a soft shell sand flea on there, it doesn't last but 10 or 12 seconds in the water. They either pull it right off or they're swallowing it down into their stomach. There's some good sized ones in here. Guys, y'all are, yeah, this size, man, I love it. Perfect size. And as you know, the redfish will eat them, pompano, whiting, black drum, also big bonnet heads and stingrays. But I know a lot of people eat bonnet heads, so if you get one of them, there you go. You got your steak, your shark steak. So the bait's showing up. I did see some in Jack's Beach as well. I want to say last Thursday when I was doing the report down there, I don't know if I mentioned, I can't even remember if I mentioned it, but as the wave was going out, I saw several running down with the wave. So they're starting to show up. They'll probably start getting in their schools here soon. As soon as that water probably hits about 67, 68, they're going to be plentiful, we hope. We hope. And yeah, I don't try to catch more than I need for a trip of fishing because they get wasted if you catch a bunch and don't use them. And there's no sense in freezing them this time of year, as they're going to be pretty much on the beach for several months now. So as far as the Jack's Beach Pier, guys, for those who live in this area, they have all the beams set now, all the decking that I was told, and basically on the end, all that is left to do is the electrical, the water, and to put the rest of the railing on. So they're already starting to tear apart their temporary trestle that they were building the pier off of. So let's hope for some good weather and some fast action. I'd like to be on that. It's a hope to be on the pier around June or so, because the kingfish will be around. And that, if you've never kingfished off the end of the pier, it's a blast. Catching 20, 30, 40-pound kings with your feet on the deck, and you really have to fight them because you can't chase them down like you can in a boat. So for the newbies who's going to be trying it, there's going to be some times where you're very upset, trust me. Yeah, the opening day of the pier, boy, it could be really crowded. But we'll still have to make an appearance, right? I'm excited. But just because the pier is open, and don't mean I'm going to stop surf fishing, because, man, I love surf fishing. You know, get out there with a family or a couple friends. It's so peaceful. You don't have to worry about people crossing your lines. the pier can get quite interesting at times with the amount of lines, because what happens is, say it's northeast at 20, you need a 3 or 4 ounce Sputnik, and person on each side of you wants to use a 1 ounce egg sinker. What do you think's going to happen? It's called Tangle Up City, and that will take away from your fun experience of fishing on a pier. But yeah, the bait's here, guys. Get out and fish. Even if the water's dirty, fishing is such a great stress reliever. If you, at the end of a long work week, to get out there and just fish, hopefully catch a pompano. Maybe if the winds are light southeast all day tomorrow and light southwest, oh yeah, it'll be a circus. But you know what? That's okay. When the old Jack's Pier went down in '99 with Floyd, it was a couple of years before we got the current Jack's Pier, and I remember the opening day was in December. So I was out there the first day. They let everyone on free the first day, and there was probably 150 people. Then the next day when they started charging again, it was about an eighth of that, and we were killing the whiting. You know, when things are free, everybody's out there, but when they add that price to it, it limits how many people are really out there. Just the way it is. You know, I don't know. Everyone has a different financial situation, so it's not easy to pay to go fishing every day. Thanks, Marcio. Yeah, I'm gonna have some. I'm actually got to order in online to get some of the decals sent. So hopefully we'll get those out to you. It's been a while. Donnie, his name's Donnie Hewlett. He has been a tremendous help, and he did it all for free. So of course he'll be getting a free shirt. I'm gonna have some shirts printed out. Hopefully some long sleeve sun shirts, SPF shirts, SPS 50, because that's all I wear when I'm fishing pretty much. Admission, well, I've heard anywhere from $6 to $8. But honestly, if you're gonna be fishing the pier like I do, the reason the pier is so easy for me is when I'm done working landscaping during the end of the day, man, I keep my rods in my truck, the pier cart in the back of my truck locked up, and I can shoot up there for an hour or two versus going on the beach where, man, it's just, it can be exhausting trudging through that sand and such. And like on the pier, if the water's dirty and shallow, I can go out deeper and find, usually further out, find some cleaner water. But we'll see. I'm excited. The last time we were on it, right before it closed, I had the kids out there and we caught a bunch of sheephead on sand fleas, and then they closed it down. And they've been asking me ever since, when do they get to fish on the pier again? They see the pictures of me when I was young on the old pier. You know, my mom would drop me off on Saturday morning, 7 o'clock, and I'd get picked up around 8. And sometimes if I was fishing too much and I didn't go down to the car to get in and leave, I would have to get a fisherman to take me home. But that's what I would do, is I would trade fish for a ride home, just because I love to fish so much. And then when I was a senior, I actually worked up there, and I worked there until basically the hurricane knocked it down. So yeah, I fished a lot up at the old Jack's Pier. It was on 6th Avenue South. Met a lot of good friends up there. A lot of the guys that fished up there as we were growing up have become very good fishermen all over. One of them's named Jonathan. He is one of the best bottom fishermen that I've seen. He is, and he uses all light tackle. He loves that light tackle, but man, he can really put it on them. I don't know if y'all seen his name, Joe. I think Joe Von Thron, Joe VTV. He's over there in Louisiana now. He was on the newer pier. I remember him when he was younger. He would follow me around. Really cool guy. And when he comes back, we're gonna get a video together on the beach, catching some fish, hopefully. We were gonna do one before he left for Louisiana, but the weather didn't cooperate. It was like south wind the entire time. The water was extremely muddy. And I told him, I said, we're not gonna waste our time trying to shoot a video with mud and not catch anything. So that's how it goes. But if y'all got any questions, y'all know to leave them on the comments. May 7th. Wait, no. April 9th is our free surf fishing seminar in Jack's Beach, 8 to 10 o'clock. Me and the sinker guy will be putting it on. We're going to try to get a few free things to hand out. I know Fish Bites will be giving us some stuff to give out, and I believe Diamond Tackle as well, who I'm sponsored by. Talked to Steve. He's willing to help with that. And then, yeah, yes, he is. And then the biggest, even bigger than the seminar, is April 9th. We're holding a huge surf fishing tournament. The weigh-in and all of that will be at Fish Bites Trading Post in St. Augustine. And we're going to be raising money for local veterans. You know, we got Northeast Florida area is full of veterans, and we'd just like to help out. And last year we raised money for Mr. Burford. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm tired. And as he battles cancer, and it was a tremendous success. And but this will be our first Northeast Florida surf fishing tournament. Me, the sinker guy, North Florida Inshore Slayers, Life for Real, Fish Bites, and many others have already pledged sponsorship. There's going to be some really awesome raffle prizes. So we hope to get as many people signed up. And it's not even about, well, yeah, of course you want to win. Of course you want to win. Like when I fish a tournament, the goal is to win. But you know what? This is a tournament that I'm not fishing it. I'll be at the trading post all day to meet with people and answer any questions they may have about surf fishing, pier fishing. And you know I love to fish these kind of tournaments, and my daughter's probably going to be upset because last year she fished 2 and won 2. She was 2 for 2, so she said, "Oh, this is pretty easy." But I said, "It's really not that easy, guy." I had to tell her it's not that easy because you can go 10 tournaments and not win any. So hopefully she don't get too mad if she don't get to fish it. But then the very next week, there's another surf tournament. I believe the Surfcasters is the very next week. And so we'll definitely fish that together. But even if you don't fish the tournament, you can come out to the trading post and there will be raffles you can enter. And I think there's going to be a silent auction too. Some really awesome stuff. AB, we're about to get all of that finalized, and we will put it all over Facebook, on YouTube. That way you'll know how to get involved. We've been having group discussions, making sure everything is lined up how it needs to be. So it's easy for you and us, and no in-between gray areas. So I think it's going to be a great tournament, and the cause is even greater. So I believe, off the top of my head, I believe it's $40. And I want to say kids, don't quote me on this, I think kids will be 25. But when you see the prizes, you're going to understand why. And a majority of that money raised through registration goes to the vets. Oh, what's up, Crank Master? Oh man, Surf West, that the condition, look, both tournaments we fished last year. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was you or not, man. Both tournaments, the Surfcasters and the Fish Bites tournament last year. The Surfcasters, it was southwest at 20. The water was mud. And we were catching a lot of whiting, but you know, they were all like 9 or 10 inches. And I remember I told her, I said, "Now watch your rod." And I look back and that thing is doubled over and she's fighting it. And I mean, she got it to the shore. And I said, "Well," I said, you just won the junior division." And of course, the entire time she's like, "How do you know that? How do you know that?" I said, "Trust me, that's a good fish." Go to weigh-in, she wins it. Then the Fish Bites, we get down there. West, you remember, it was northeast 25. And I said, "Oh my gosh." And so the spot we went to in Ponte Vedra in front of my customer's house, it's an awesome spot, but it was also the wrong tide. It was high outgoing. And down there, it's really good the last 3 hours of outgoing, you get to fish the trough. And so thankfully we had the sinker guy Sputniks. I only brought 4-ounce Sputniks, but they held. And how we caught that fish, we had to watch the waves. I said, we got to watch the waves, see where we need to throw. So the winning fish she caught that day, I literally threw the lines out 20 feet in front of us. There was actually little, 2 to 3 foot, I call them potholes. Yeah, I mean, oh, that tournament was something. When we walked over the dunes, my wife said, "Are we really going to fish this?" I said, "Well, we've already entered. Let's just do it." And we put the baits right in those little potholes. And I'm telling you, her line wasn't in the water probably 20 seconds, and the line just went completely slack. So I said, "You better start reeling." And it was the winning fish. And then my rod did the same thing, bringing it in, and it pulled off. I said, well, and that's how it goes. And then we had the surf fishing tournament out of Neptune Beach Baptist Church, the big one. Same thing, northeast at 25, and I was trying for drum and sheephead. It was a no-go, and so as the tournament was ending, I started catching trout, and a couple of the ones I caught would have placed, but you know what? That's okay. And something interesting about that tournament, I guess somebody showed up at weigh-ins with a overslot redfish and didn't quite understand why they couldn't win the tournament. So they got in their truck and took off, which is probably a good thing because FWC might have been coming and they would have gave them a winning ticket, all right, but they would have been the ones paying out the money out. But let's pray, guys, for good weather for April 9th and May 7th. And I think me and Chip, we're working on getting a speaker system so we can maybe wear some headsets or whatever you call, I don't know, whatever you call them, where you can hand-free headsets so we can talk. Reggie, that was ridiculous. Yes, it was. It was ridiculous. We'll get some hand-free headsets and maybe put a couple speakers out there, because the last seminar we had last year, we had over 100 people. And me and Chip can talk pretty loud, but I want everyone to be able to hear, because, if you don't get up in the front, and we also had COVID and social distancing, so everybody was a little spaced out. We want it to where if someone asks a question, we can repeat that question and answer it so everyone hears, so the same question's not stated over. And we're hoping for good weather. That way we can show you. We always talk about where to cast, like cast in this spot. We'll show you this time. Hopefully, like the last seminar we did, we're talking about runouts, sandbars, and lo and behold, as we're talking about them, a runout showed up, and then everybody was able to see it. The sand fleas were there, so we were able to point out schools of sand fleas and help people out. So that's what we're hoping for on April 9th. And we'll talk about the tournament as well. Crankmaster, in all my years, what I've noticed about the whiting bite on a full moon is that's when I've gotten some of my biggest whiting. And usually they're coming in to the lay eggs. So the only problem is the dirty water. If the water will clean up, you're going to get some big whiting. I saw someone post on our Facebook group. Someone posted on our Facebook group, I don't know where she caught them, but she had about, I think, 10 whiting. Every one of them looked to be 14 to 16 inches. So those are good fish. That's why when in the summer months, a lot of people forget that there's whiting here year round. So in the summer months, I really plan a lot of my whiting fishing days around that full moon. I'll go to Ponte Vedra or South Jacks Beach, and I'll usually use sand fleas and fish the runouts or a good slough on high tide, and I'll catch some stud whiting. I got a picture from about 8 years ago, I believe. There's one morning I had 23, 24 whiting. Every single whiting was between 14 and 17 inches, and one was 18 inches. Then I had a 23-inch red too. And then I took them up on the pier to clean them, and they were catching nothing up there, and they could not believe there were fish. See, you forget the pier can be great at times, but there's not always fish around it. You know, they get caught. You go down to the beach that's not hit by 100 lines an hour, there's gonna be a lot more fish to be caught. So just keep that in mind, guys. I think that's it. If there's any more questions, you know where to leave them, and I'll try to get back to you. I got to go put these sand fleas in the refrigerator and hope my wife don't eat them in the morning. She won't. It's in a big cast net box. Yeah, man, no problem. Hey, thanks for watching, Marcio. Hope to see you, man. It'll be nice to meet a lot of you guys that I've only talked to through YouTube and Facebook. It's nice. I've already met several, and it's been great, like James Webster and several other people, Donnie Gwynn. It's nice to put a face with the name. So hope to see y'all there. Y'all guys have a great weekend, and if I'm at the beach tomorrow, I'll try to do a live update. Heck yeah, Marcio. Catch y'all later.